Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another video for Ark Survival Evolved. This is a guide on how to find deathworms. Now, of course, most people will know how to do this, and this is a guide aimed at people or players that pretty much don't know how to do this or are just starting out in the game. Now, on the Ragnarok map in the desert region, there are deathworms which you can find and kill, and of course then harvest them. And in their inventories you will find stuff such as black pearls, deathworm horns, which are good for taming mantises if you're into that sort of stuff. Plus you get some organic polymer, leech blood, primey, and all that sort of stuff. Do bear in mind that to hunt deathworms you do need to have a powerful mount, and I normally go with a wyvern. You can do this with a rex, but there is a way to actually find them. So what you want to do is I'm going to use the wyvern. You want to fly facing down into the desert, into the sand, and then go into K mode, or I don't know what it's called in on consoles, but basically you want to use K mode on PC, which allows you to see under the map. That means you can pretty much scout the area by looking underneath the map to see the deathworm, and that's kind of how you find them. Now, do bear in mind that if deathworms spawn in a region, you may also potentially find a alpha deathworm, and that is no joke. It does a lot of damage, it has a lot of HP. You definitely need something powerful. Now, what is really good against a deathworm is actually fire. So for that reason, I normally tend to do this with a fire wyvern. Of course, you can do this with rexes, and as you trot on the sand, just go into K mode, which allows you to manipulate the camera in such a manner so that you can see underneath the map. Now, sometimes I will snag onto other creatures, so I will have to exit K mode, but that is pretty much how we're going to find them. So I'll show you guys what they look like once we found one. Now, I've flown the area quite a couple of times. I've not seen anything. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to start killing off some of the creatures on this area. So what happens is the deathworm does sometimes share spawns with creatures in the biome that it spawns in. And so in order to facilitate a spawn, you'll have to clear out some creatures. I've done this prior to actually starting this recording, or the second section of the video. So hopefully, I've killed quite a few creatures, so hopefully we'll get something to spawn in. Now, another thing, and I'll show you, I'll aim at least to show you in this video with regards to the Deathworm spawns, is that once a Deathworm has spawned in, it tends to despawn after a certain time. So certain creatures have different despawn timers. The Deathworm spawns in and out, so that's what you need to know. They won't be there for too long, unlike most creatures that tend to have, I believe, a 48-hour despawn timer. The Deathworm creature has a very short despawn timer, so I'm going to aim to try and show you that as well. So again, I'm looking underneath the map as I'm flying. I'm looking all around, so I'm doing a 360. They might spawn behind me, so do keep that in mind. I'm trying to actually see them because obviously the terrain is not straight. It can be at times difficult. So I'm hoping to see something here. Once I find one, well, you'll see them. They look like a little pillar underneath. There we go. There's one right there. So it's like a little pillar underneath the map. Once I land, it should aggro onto me. I'll keep this in K mode so you guys can see exactly what's going on. You can even see the sand at the top as it's making its way towards me. And I'm going to fight this one on camera, and I'll show you what I get out of it. Now, I am in God mode for this particular video. This is just to illustrate how to find them. How you kill them is really up to you, but obviously deathworms are fairly rare spawns, so this is why I wanted to make this video. They are definitely worth farming and hunting. So I'm just gonna back down a bit to show you what it looks like. And even a basic deathworm is no joke. See if we can get a nice image of him coming out. Might use that as a thumbnail. Oh, that missed it. That's fine. Now you can bite or use the flame breath of the wyvern. Bear in mind, for this you will need a high level wyvern. Now this is my taming wyvern, so it's not spec'd out for damage, but damage and health are very important because these things do a lot of damage, and yeah, they're not a joke, and especially the alpha wyvern, the alpha deathworms. I normally tend to focus on the fire breath of the wyvern because it does do quite a decent amount of damage, and as the dots tick on the fire breath, it does of course a percentage of the deathworm's health in terms of damage. So very efficient way of killing such a creature. Another thing you need to know if you're going to go hunting the deathworms is that of course you will want to make sure that you have plenty of meat on your tame. Now I normally go with carnivores because sometimes deathworms can spawn really close to each other, so you can end up fighting two of them at a time, and you will need to heal your mount after each battle. It is recommended, and you might want to have some backup just in case an alpha deathworm spawns in. They are definitely worth taking down. As I said before, they are extremely hard to take down as well. They do a crazy amount of damage. And that's one deathworm down. I'm kind of stuck in it. We're going to have vultures coming in, so I need to try and get these guys sorted, which is a bit of a nuisance. Now, I have cleared out the deathworm. Oh, there's another vulture coming. I'll quickly deal with this guy if I can. There we go. Now, once you, because in my case I've harvested the deathworm, they drop a bag with what goodies they would have had. So I'll just quickly go and show you what is in that bag, and then I will show you some more deathworms. Hopefully I managed to get the spawning mechanic to show you guys how things work. Okay, so we've got leech blood. We'll take the deathworm horn. We've got some organic polymer, which we don't need. Alright, so off to search for some more deathworms. Same method as before. Nose of your flyer, in this case the wyvern, and I do recommend you use a wyvern or rexes or gigas, whatever you think is best, whatever powerful creature you have. And then of course just pretty much wander around the desert area like this with K mode and look underneath the map so you can see where they are. You can see them from fairly far, and don't forget to check behind you because sometimes they do tend to spawn behind you. Just because it wasn't there when you flew over the area does not mean that they don't spawn. They do spawn, they pop in and out, so that's what you need to keep in mind. So it's always good to look all the way around. Also, whilst on the topic of deathworms, I can say that it's actually easier to find the alpha deathworms at night because they do have a red smoky aura around them, much like any alpha creature in the game. And because they are close to the ground, you can actually see the red glow at night. If you're doing this during the day, though, it's going to be difficult to tell them apart from... oh, there's another one right there. So you can... yeah, it's going to be difficult to tell that it's an alpha deathworm. As you can see, it is already aggroed onto me and I'm not even onto the ground. So I'm going to try and get some distance and show you or give you a good view of what this creature looks like, if I can, of course. Okay, I need it to lose aggro on me. It's still following. Also, bear in mind I can only kite it for a certain distance before it despawns. I don't want to go too far away. There's a giga right there, so I need to keep an eye out for that. Alright, I'm slightly high up compared to the deathworm, so I need to try and locate myself in such a way, or position myself in such a way where I'm kind of level with it so I can show you what it looks like underneath the map. I'll just quickly pick this up. And you can just about see the tip of the tail of the deathworm. I want to see what level Giga that is. Okay, so it looks like it's a fairly high level Giga. Okay, Spyglass isn't working for me. That kind of sucks. Anyways, let's get back to the task at hand. I'm trying to think where I could go to basically show you what this guy looks like underneath the map. I mean, yeah. So I'm trying to find a good position. I don't want to aggro him. Or it. I don't know if it's a male or female. Maybe if I do this right here. And hopefully it does not despawn. Also, another thing to keep in mind is the fact that they do also tend to despawn after being aggroed. Let's have a look. So it's somewhere this way. I'm going to run towards it. There is a distance where it spawns in that you can see it without aggroing it. Seems to have completely despawned. So this is what I was on about before. They don't hang around for too long. They will despawn. So they tend to be in and out for a couple of minutes. So that's why you want to pretty much just be on the move all the time searching for them. This guy has despawned, so I'll try and find another one, because he was definitely in this direction right here. This is where I last left him. But he's not here anymore. Oh, there's another one right there. So as you can see, that guy despawned. We got another one to spawn in. So I'll give you a good look at what he looks like. There we go. That's what you're looking for underneath the map. Notice that there is some gap between the surface of the sand and the tip of the tail of the Deathworm. So we'll try and aggro this guy. We'll kill him. We'll see if we get any black pearls. It is a good way of farming black pearls if you don't want to go into the ocean. Oh, he despawned. So you just saw that mechanic in play. They don't hang around for too long. That's something to keep in mind. You'll see this happen very often when you are hunting Deathworms. Time to go and find us another one. Okay, so after much flying around, much killing, much testing, here we have an alpha Deathworm. You can just about see the red aura that I was on about. I am not going to fight this thing to kill it. I will use admin commands just to kind of show you what an alpha Deathworm does drop and why you do want to try and farm these guys. They're definitely totally worth doing, but if the Deathworms are dangerous, these guys are extremely dangerous. So you want something that is very, very powerful in terms of mount. You might want some backup as well. I would probably recommend that you have some backup with you. So I would have creatures, flyers preferably on follow to help with taking out something such that is so powerful, such a creature. It is not a joke. It is basically a mini boss, so keep that in mind. Just want to kind of show you the animations of this. It looks just the same as a normal Deathworm, just it is much bigger, does much more damage, has much more health. I mean, it looks pretty cool. I like the way it looks. Its attack mechanic looks pretty neat. Right, let's get rid of this guy. I'm going to use an admin command. Hopefully I don't kill my wyvern, but my wyvern has got god mode, so it should not be killed. Right, I might need to jump for this. Yeah, it's not working. I'm still in my wyvern's hitbox. That's fine. Just double checking that I spelt it right. There we go. Let's try this again. Okay, so what's happening here is I'm trying to use the admin command to kill it. But I am still within my wyvern's hitbox, so normally this would have killed my wyvern instead of the Deathworm. But because my wyvern is set to god mode, or has got god mode enabled, it can't kill the wyvern. So this is what it looks like. You can walk on it. Be careful. Obviously in the desert you will have vultures that will want to harvest the dead bodies, and you can access its inventory. Now normally I'm sort of stuck inside him, so I just want to free my wyvern. You can see the bag of this deathworm on the ground, so we'll quickly check it out. Just want to empty my wyvern's inventory of all the stuff that you get, which I don't want or need. Go and check out the bag. And you normally tend to get about 20 deathworm horns. You get a trophy and you get some polymer. Sometimes you'll get some stuff like leech blood and other goodies in there. Definitely worth hunting them. So over here we have another deathworm that I have killed. Let's have a look at what he's got in his inventory once I can access it. It tends to be somewhere in the middle of the body above the ground. There we go. Black pearls, deathworm horn, and some leech blood. Leech blood, of course, is good for quite a few things in the game, including fishing. That is pretty much it for this video, folks. I do hope that you have enjoyed it and found it useful and informative. If you have, please don't forget to support me in the channel by hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already for more similar content from myself. And if you have just subscribed, why not check out some of my other videos and guides here on this channel? Who knows, you might just enjoy them. And don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you get notified when I upload new videos and content to the channel. Also, for those interested, you can always find me on the Sethopia Discord. Links to this, of course, you can find down below in the video description, as well as in a pinned comment from myself. Until next time, stay safe, folks.